Okay.
We just do nice little screen wipes in between, so you could tell that they were like breaks in the editing.
So yeah, when we were talking, when I pitched Rich my ideas for 20th anniversary, we talked about it, me and Rich and a couple of the other folks in the development group. And I said, no, Mage has always been about dynamic reality. It should be a Mage for now, not a Mage for then. It should be recognizably the game that you enjoyed 20 years ago, if you enjoyed it 20 years ago. But it should be, now. It looks really horribly dated, some of the stuff about the virtual adapts and so forth. But in 1993, the internet, as we know it, began existing around 1991. The idea of the virtual edits and the digital web, that was some cutting edge shit for 1993. It's ancient history now. And 20th will probably feel the same way, but I felt like there were a lot of things in 20th that are subjects for now that are worth addressing. Occupy, obviously, Anonymous has got, Anonymous gets name checked a few times, but also there are issues of ethnicity, there's issues, not issues, but bringing up the subject of, gender issues, non-binary gender, non-binary gender identity, cultural heritage from all over the world. And one of the things that we made a big point of in 20th is 20th anniversary Mage is Mage for the world. It's not the Mage for white kids in America. And Mage has got a huge following in South America, Europe, huge fanatical following here. And I'm not going to pretend everything happens, everything begins and ends in Western Europe or the United States. There's a 15,000 word overview of history at the beginning of chapter 5 that covers from literally the Big Bang, which could have happened in a number of ways, all through what's happening concurrently all over the globe, how different groups are growing and developing all over the globe, in Africa and South America, in various different parts of Asia and Europe, and not just, this bunch of European mages and then some Asian guys came over. No, it's the whole deal.
And when you talk about mages as a global fan base, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my perspective, and viewing the cheap seats, as just a fanboy, as you stepped away from Mage, and then we kind of from the gaming community, we heard very, very little of you. We'll touch on Deliria in a second, but I want to say, kind of bringing you back to Mage and everything. A lot of respect has to go out to the Greek gaming group.
I know.
I don't know any of your names, but I love you all for bringing him back to us.
Yes.
I just love the idea that this group of gamers, I felt like kind of just kidnapped you and drug you back into the gaming world, and said, no, give us more, and so to them, I want to say thank you.
For folks who haven't heard this story, this is one of the good things Facebook does. So about, I guess it's almost 4 years ago now, a now really, really close friend of mine, like my brother Anthony Raven Galatis, had contacted me on Facebook and said, I'm a big fan of your work, can I friend you? And I was like, yes, of course, thank you. And then he started introducing me to his friends and his sister Nina and his best friend Haris and Haris's then girlfriend Joanna. And we started talking and we started chatting, and they're like, we wish you could come to Greece. I'm like, I would love to come to Greece. And they said, well, if you come to Greece, you can stay here. I'm like, I would love to come to Greece. So a few months later, Haris Odin's son, and Joanna, I'm sorry, Joanna, I don't want to mangle the mispronunciation of your last name, so I'll just say Joanna. But Haris and Joanna said, we want to give Anthony a name day present. Would you be willing to come out to Greece to meet him? I'm like, are you offering? I just want to make sure I'm not making any cultural or linguistic errors here. Are you offering to fly me and my partner, Sandra Busberry? Are you offering to fly me and my partner out to Greece? They're like, yes. I'm like, hell yes. And we were out there for a week, and it was magnificent. These are wonderful people. I mean, I don't just say that because they're fans and they love my work. I mean, these are really fantastic people, and this is true also of you. This is true of lots, if not all of you all out there watching this now. But it is an honor to me to have inspired people. This is, 22, 23 years ago, I was, a struggling beginning writer who was taking this job writing stuff that I liked for a paycheck to help pay my rent. I see the result now, years later, and I am humbled and I am honored, and thank you, because what we did could easily have been disposable. You guys make it and keep it real. That's one of the things that I love about working in the role-playing game medium. I hate the business. I do. I'm sorry. It's a sick-ass business. It's worse than comics. But I love this medium because it's interactive. As an artist, as well as a gamer, I love working in an interactive medium because I don't write things, and me and my crew don't write and illustrate things and go, here, you immortal, enjoy your entertainment. We give you guys ideas and you run with them, and then you change your own lives and the lives of other people. I think that is fucking awesome. Thank you for that.
I was just going to say, you mentioned things about cutting edge and the interactivity and the fans, and to me, part of it has always been, I don't know the right words, as clunky and cumbersome as first edition Mage was, and some of those first books that came out, paradoxically, there was also something incredibly personal and intimate about it. I know it's been mentioned before, but just even the tarot card. The idea of
Rich Thomas again.
It sounds silly, and then it sounds shameful, to be honest. The fact that this is one of the first books to have a minority on the cover who isn't a cliche.
Yes, that was Rich Thomas and Travis Williams did that deliberately because it was a fuck you to the rest of the gaming industry.
I mean, because before
actually,
that you've got what? You got Ali
industry.
Khadim with a horrible, Marid and some insulting looking guy in a turban. That was it for your minorities. There you go.
Travis Williams wrote a great editorial right around the time Mage First Edition came out for White Wolf magazine, which you can find it online. But he had written a great editorial about that, basically going, I'm a black gamer, where the fuck am I in your books? I'm a gangster or I'm a savage. What the fuck is this? This is bullshit. And that was one of the things that we were deliberately doing with White Wolf back in the day and still now, is going, what are the things people aren't seeing? We put them out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, even going all the way back to, first edition Vampire, I think was the first time I ever saw she as a pronoun in a gaming book.
Did we get shit about that?
And I'll be honest, I think it was like, I was probably 2/3 of the way through the book before I even noticed it, and then it was like, oh. And then I didn't know whether or not to feel enlightened because I had made it 2/3 of the way through, or embarrassed because I had made it 2/3 of the way through without, it was definitely